Hi there, and we are going to do some content management today. And while I'm doing the show file that I'm hopefully going to be able to share with you, I thought I'm just going to do the video alongside. So it's a new show, so I'm just going to pop in a one screen, display, generic display. Just so we have something. Okay. Okay. So compositing, we have a timeline. That's all fine. This is gonna go, and okay, we have some content. Okay. Here's my control session, and here's my PIXERA module that I'm going to need. And okay. So we are going to start off with the task of ingesting content into the system, and the idea is that we're going to have one folder and we can have multiple folders that we hook up to the system and that we can ingest content from. So a marketing manager or anybody can actually upload files into a given folder, and we just pull that into the system. Okay, so come into the tools, and we are going to grab the inside of the tools the module that's called resource adder. Okay, and we're going to check on the settings of the properties of the resource adder. We can rename that, but the important thing is that we're going to give it a path that we can actually reach. So I think I have created a folder on C, and it's called content. Perfect. That's what I want. So that's going to be my path, C, content. And as I said, that could be anywhere in the network. We just have to be able to connect to that source. Okay. So we have that. So what else do we need? We need to add resource. Yeah. Important thing is to folder resource. So we need to define in which folder we actually want that content to be ingested inside of our session. So come back to our compositing, and we have a couple of folders here in our resources, and let's do a new folder, add a folder, rename. I'm just going to call that ingest or ingested content or whatever. Okay, coming back to control. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to check inside of our PIXERA module. We're going to check for that folder. So resources, get resource folders, and here's my media folder, and get resource folders, and here is my ingest folder. And now we can actually connect. Oh. Hold on. That's going to be my reference. Okay. So what happened was that I popped that out, and I was wrong. I need to get that reference. So this is going to get me the reference. My fault. Okay. So we get that. Is that all? Anything else we need to do? I don't think so. We have to trigger that. So we could create like a like an interface or a button or something like that. I'm not going to do that now. What I'm going to do is it's empty, and did I add some content inside my? Yeah, added some content. Okay, good. So come back to control. I'm just going to trigger that add resource action, and that should actually trigger the whole process. So let's see. Okay, add resource. Okay, it did something. We come back to compositing. Yes, there it is. And actually, we're just going to redo all the content for our preview. So we had actually to have two copies, the one for the preview and the one for the playback. Okay. Okay. So we have that in our system. So let's say we want to have that on a given timeline. As you might see, the timeline is completely empty. So coming back to control, we want to actually build a timeline from that content we have just ingested. Okay, so let's take the timeline builder, and what we actually want to do is once the transfer is complete, we want to build the timeline. So connected that. Okay, good. Is there anything else we need to do? We need to create a layer. Okay, so let's do one thing first. Like, it's going to ask us, okay, which folder is that thing actually supposed to get its content from? So let's connect that to our ingest folder with two connections, and it's going to ask us, okay, what timeline do you want? You know, which timeline should you use? We just have one timeline yet, so pop that down, get timelines, pop that open. Here's my reference once more, and I'm just going to connect that from the to timeline into my reference. Okay. So the system knows where to actually create that timeline. Now we need a layer. That's what our properties tell us. Okay, and I think there's no layer yet, so we'll do a add layer, add a media layer, and it's called layer 1. That's kind of obviously that needs to fit that name here. Layer 1, layer 1. Yeah, that's correct. Okay, let's do one more thing. Let's kick that out. Delete, remove that. Okay, so it's empty. Here's control once more. Oh, and don't forget, you could, trigger that from externally, from anything via the API. That's brand new. So let's try that if that works. Okay. Come back. And here's our timeline. We re-ingested the content. As we always already have some proxies, the proxies are not being done for the preview. They're just there. And we have created our timeline here. One thing you can check is in the internals here. And if you're into programming, doing things, there's a fill layer. So this defines how the layer is actually filled. It's like, okay, take that content, put it onto your timeline, give it, I don't know, 2-second crossfade. It's all done. There's no user interface yet. So, if you're into Lua programming, you could actually define the programming right there if you want to. Good. Okay. One thing you might notice is, okay, let's go to the end of the timeline. There is a queue that has been created automatically and says to beginning. So, yes, it just loops forever if you wanted to. Okay, let's stop that timeline. So if you want to have an automatic timeline runner, we have something like that as well. Let's pop that down, because the idea is that, okay, we add the resource and we will get the information with the transfer completed if all has been transferred. And this is really important because let's say you have multiple clients behind that whole that system. I just have like one master machine here with a couple of displays, but let's say you have multiple client machines behind my master machine. I really want to be able to know when all the content has been distributed and is ready to use. And that's what transfer complete does. It really tells us, yes, it has been, the content has been distributed and is ready to be used. And we have the same thing here. It's like, yes, the timeline has been built. And once I get that, I want to run the timeline. Okay. And same thing. There's nothing here on our preferences or on the properties. So we want two timelines. So we need to define which timeline we're actually going to reference to, and that's timeline 1. And the timeline built probably should be fade in and run. Don't know what the difference is between fade in and run complete. We'll see about that. Okay, so let's go and let's remove all that. Okay, goodbye, 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 and let's remove all that. Remove. Okay, so let's see if that works. And we're going to start once more with the resource editor, and let's see if that works. Resource editor. Okay, compositing. There we go. Okay, if you have any questions, let me know. You can have as many mechanisms inside of PIXERA Control as a license allows. So you can have multiple screens, you can have multiple timelines, multiple layers, multiple ingest folders for different people to interact with. Just depends on you, how you set up the systems. Okay, that's it.